Ladies and gentlemen, order in the court. Today's proceedings finds the people versus James McGill.
Legal troubles got you down. Bosses refusing the payout. Hit and run leave you stunned. Drug lords in your future. Maybe not. Because he'll get your case dismissed. He'll get you the defense you deserve. But only if you say the words.
Oh no, I need legal representation. Whatever shall I do? What do I say? Oh wait, I know. Better Call Saul. So without further ado, it's time to start judging Saul. Court is now in session.
You will atone.
Dragon, I've got 3 words for you. 3 words, all right? 3 words. You ready to know what the 3 words are?
Best episode yet?
Yeah. Best episode yet. Yeah. What do you think? Are you in agreement with me? Honestly, the only one that I can think of that rivals this one is maybe Chicanery, but I don't know, man. This is Jimmy and Kim's Chicanery, Dragon. That's the best way to put it. I mean, this is up there. This is at least hashtag top 5, baby.
I'll go as far as to say, well, it's easily the best of the season so far. Bear in mind, the season's only a little over halfway done, so we still got some. 7's the next one. 7's always the one to look out for.
Yeah.
So I don't even know how they're even going to top this one. That's what I'm saying. If
All I know is that this is like the episode title that I've been anticipating the most. So
and it lived up to it for sure.
Oh yeah,
I love it. I don't. It's definitely in the top 5 for the whole series. I'll give you that much. It might be top 5, but it's at the very least top 10. Because you gotta remember, it's only a 10-episode season. And when you say top 5, it's kind of it could be like an episode per season, which can make things a little bit tricky. But point being, it's really good. It's up there. It's absolutely kind of what you want the show to be. So there's a case can be made for it for sure. It's fantastic.
I think I'm even more blown away by it than you are, man. Because
I'm
for
blown
me,
away by it.
I would go as far as to say easily top 3, Dragon. I would be so bold as to say that.
Don't I really like this episode too? I'm just not going to jump off the deep end and say it's the.
Dragon, let me relish in this. Let me relish in this because you are usually the one who's cautiously optimistic. All right.
Right again, we haven't gotten to 7 yet.
I'm just having my moment, Dragon. Let me have my moment.
No, you're not going to have your moment at my expense. That's not a moment.
Sorry.
How dare you make that accusation? You know what? Forget Wexler McGill. This is Tiki v. Dragon right now.
Oh, God.
VD5. Anyway. All right.
All right. I take back having more enthusiasm than you. I'm sorry.
I'm saying. I think we're both. The point being, we're both really high on this episode. All right, really good episode.
Anyways.
All right. So, I guess some credits on this one. This was
God, we're like Defoe and Pattinson in The Lighthouse.
Okay. Anyway. So, this was directed by Michael Morris, who did Quite a Ride, and the guy for this season.
Oh, yeah.
And this was written, oh boy, was this written. This was written by Tom Schnauz. The Schnauz, man. The Schnauz worked on this.
Yes.
So Tom Schnauz, the great and powerful Tom Schnauz, one of the great writers. Of course, he had a health scare last season on Better Call Saul. He's feeling much better. He's back in the saddle. I believe he's even directed one this season. We haven't gotten to yet. Tom Schnauz wrote Winner, which of course kind of really much shaped this season, and he's written episodes kind of in correlation with this. He wrote Switch, from back in season 2, and he wrote one of my favorite episodes, Expenses. Oh my God, I love Expenses. He wrote that one too. So of course, we're in good hands with the Schnauz.
All right.
All right.
There's a specific joke with Jonathan Banks and Tom Schnauz that I'm not gonna get to quite yet, but we'll get there, Dragon. You know what it is.
Yeah, I know what it is.
It's like a fourth wall joke, Dragon. It's like a fourth wall joke.
The best joke of Better Call Saul. We're gonna anyway. Okay, so let's just dive right into it. We're both very, very looking forward to this one for sure, folks. All right, so
we're jumping to the bits. Yeah, we're recording earlier than we usually do.
Yes. So we start with Kim Wexler as our cold, but not just Kim Wexler. It's a flashback to Kim Wexler, and I was already blown away by this. I was like on the edge of the seat. Are they doing what I think they're doing? Are they doing what I think they're doing? Yes, they're doing it. So we have this great full circle setup. We get a real insight. This season, I believe episode 3, we got an insight into Kim's past with Mr. Acker, and she kind of told her that. The relationship with her mother, and that's when I had the big epiphany with Kim Wexler this season. I think this episode kind of confirms is that Kim Wexler is her own version of Saul Goodman, and that the Kim Wexler of the past is something she's been trying to get away from and kind of turned herself into kind of like the very professional lawyer lady that is Kim Wexler, or as some people have kind of lovingly called her. Oh God, it's Mrs. Good Woman. It's like
oh God.
Some people have given Kim Wexler a few monikers. Actually, one of them is I think like Sally Goodwoman. I think that's what they've called her.
I mean, given the end of the episode, I can't really blame them for the Good Woman thing.
And some people have kind of like going with I believe Sally Goodwoman is like the moniker for the whole Saul Goodman is Sally Goodwoman. Anyway, so the point being, Kim Wexler is going to have her own Saul Goodman to get away from the stuff that we're seeing now in the flashback. And oh man, I was frothing at the mouth of this stuff. And I love the setup where it's a late night after cello practice, and she's probably been waiting there a lot longer than she should have. And now we've all been in the position here. We're just waiting for the ride that gets delayed, and you're seeing all the other cars. You're saying, I love how they capture like you think every car is going to be yours, and it's not.
Yeah.
Kim Wexler, I love how she plays the cello too, even better. So Kim Wexler. She's out of cello practice.
Dress all in pink, Dragon. We need to address that.
Yeah.
Because, of course, Kim Wexler, her main color is blue, and I feel like pink represents innocence.
True. So, her mother finally arrives, and let's talk about the casting here real quick. The casting is flawless on both of these people, because I love that the mother looks a little bit like Ray Seahorn, but also has it's basically a little bit more of a Nebraska accent, but still, it's like what Kim probably has, but she's reined in or reined out.
Gave me like a Jennifer Coolidge kind of vibe.
I see a vague Jennifer Coolidge thing. It didn't jump out to me, but I see now you bring it up. I kind of see it. But again, seriously, the girl that they had played kind of high school era, Kim Wexler, probably a freshman in high school if I were to guess.
It's middle school, actually.
Well, it said high school behind her.
Did it? I thought it said middle school. I'm sorry.
Well, young Kim Wexler. Okay, young Kim Wexler. She was flawless. I love how she captured Kim Wexler's being. She didn't speak a lot, but I love she captured the cadence so perfectly.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm just blown away by the casting. Oh god, it's like they keep making deals with the devils with all these flashbacks. They just do. All right, so what's the situation here, Tiki? So mother shows up, and why was she delayed?
She was delayed because she had to have a drink at the Clover. Down at the Clover, she was delayed. It was one beer. It doesn't smell like one beer.
Oh yeah, and I love Kim Wexler. That's what the kid's doing so well here. I love the Kim Wexler so principled as a child, and she's
just gonna walk. She kind of like deliberates to herself. I'm just gonna walk. Kind of pulls a power move.
Mm-hmm. And her mom, again, we see her. So we say so much about Kim Wexler with this flashback. So her mother is flawed and in very much slipping Jimmy. And I love that so much. She's so much. You can see a lot. It's almost like there's a very Freudian thing with Kim Wexler here, in that we see.
Oh, that's what a ton of people have been pointing out. Yeah.
But it's so great, though. We see that she's. I love her mother. I love my read on her mother is that her mother is putting in a good faith effort. She's failing at every turn, but she is putting in effort. She's trying to make it up to her with food, TV. Hey, we'll watch something again. Basically, what Jimmy does at every twist and turn, we're gonna get some food.
I mean, I hate to use cliche, man, but addiction is a disease. It's like I watched my dad go through multiple addictions and beat him. I watched my dad quit cigarettes when I never thought he could. So there are good people underneath addictions. That's always been my philosophy.
Sure, but I'm seeing beyond this. It's
I
the
don't
whole
mean to
thing.
get up on my soapbox. I'm sorry.
Well, sure, but I mean beyond that too. It's like we already kind of painted a picture about her when her mother was like one step ahead of the the rent,
Sure,
the landlord essentially. So there's still there's a slipping Jimmy perception applied to it along with this. So it's a little bit of both. But you're right though. The point being, we're adding layers to her. That's what I'm getting. Layers like one brief glimpse at her here, and then of course she's like, you can pick the song on the radio, and that's the thing. It's so.
Like I said, she tells she's making an effort with the like we can get some McNuggets. You can pick you can pick the radio station. Like it's not like she's not trying, even though she's clearly in the wrong.
Certainly, and again, a little bit of the Freudian thing here. Kim ends up with Jimmy, who embodies not just. Now, currently, as Saul Goodman embodies kind of Kim Wexler has become getting away from kind of her past, but also Jimmy kind of fundamentally, and with all his flaws, especially as Saul Goodman even now, a little bit of Kim's mom in there. Freudian. And I would infer from this is that with this moment, the really poignant moment we end the flashback on, it's like you never listen. As she's basically saying, Kim, she's being so stubborn, get in the car, I'm going to drive off, and she does drive off. Says you never listen. So this is a big foreshadow for the episode. Sets up our big climax of the episode. It's a big foreshadow for those events, but also Kim not seeing the writing on the wall. I think that's a big thing right now. She's not. Kim Wexler is a character, one of her big character flaws. She just doesn't see the writing on the wall where things are going to end up with Jimmy McGill.
Mm-hmm.
So again, there's a whole you never listen in that regard. Kim doesn't listen to her better instincts like she did kind of in this moment. And of course, you have the bigger thing. Now we see why she's stuck by Jimmy so much, because it's maybe implied that she didn't cut her mother a break, perhaps when she should have, or she didn't stand by her, and perhaps we don't. I'm not going to go as far as this is the last interaction they ever had, or anything. Like she drove off and she never came back. I'm not going to say that, but I would say that this might be indicative, they grew apart when maybe Kim regrets that later in life, which is why when she runs into another figure like her mother, she's much more sympathetic, and that's why she never leaves Jimmy. And that's why. So again, it's a fascinating stuff. Oh my God, such a wonderful layered writing. I love it. Tom Schnauz, man. Frickin' Schnauz.
All right. So, Dragon, let's break down a lot of commercial talk in this episode, Dragon. We're going to be talking about commercials a lot. Oh, God. Let's break down this first commercial, this old school Mesa Verde commercial. Oh my God, this is cool.
Commercial so much. So again, yet another flashback commercial in a sense too here. So we meet. So not only there's a Kim Wexler flashback that starts off this episode, we get a Kevin Wachtel flashback.
Right. So, did you ever think you would see an actor playing young Kevin Wachtel on the show?
No, never. So the commercial, and this is big. I know you didn't catch this, man. I'd be impressed if you caught this. Okay, so we meet Don Wachtel, and Don Wachtel, of course, doing his Mesa Verde ad from presumably the 70s, maybe late 60s, because I think Wachtel's, Brexlin a little older than Kim Wexler.
This ad has a very old school Knott's Berry Farm vibe to it, because Knott's Berry Farm, they have a wealth of old school ads and everything from the 60s and 70s, and just the home on the range and the cowboys and everything and the down home atmosphere to it all. Yeah. I don't know. It makes me nostalgic.
Always the whole commercial's dripping with rustic tone of the West.
Yeah.
I love that. I love how it's dripping with that. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. I'm wondering if you caught it. The actor playing Don Wachtel.
Oh, I have no idea.
Another Mr. Show alumni. My favorite Mr. Show alumni, outside of David Cross and Bob Odenkirk. Jay Johnston, the guy I always keep saying, if age didn't matter, I would cast him in a heartbeat for Jesse McBride. Whenever I see Jesse McBride on Just Giggle, I think of this guy. Jay Johnston. I sent you that thing earlier. You didn't watch the thing from earlier, did you?
It slipped my mind to watch it. I'm sorry.
The Everest sketch. Point being, Jay Johnston. He's my favorite of the Mr. Show alumni, and I'm so happy they put him in here. I thought he looked familiar, and they confirmed it. Oh my God, it was Jay Johnston. It's amazing. So. Anyways, the point being, he's playing Don Wachtel. I love it's a very optimistic ad. It's there's nothing coy about. There's nothing there's nothing cynical about it. There's like, hey, we're trying to get money out of people. None of that. It's a very earnest ad. It's full of integrity and a love between a father and a son. And again, like Kevin Lochdale, you get a sense he always speaks fondly of his father. And I love how the dichotomy of that between one perennial relationship and the other here, between the Open and this. So it's like the idea of Mesa Verde, it's been in business at this point for 10 years. And the big promises of Mesa Verde, it's you'll be free from hidden fees, and you get to choose the account that's right for you. And like, isn't that right, Kevin? That's right, Dad. And the two of them, and he says, "Yep." And the
yep,
which is going to be
really
important. I love
that. That's a great setup on the rewatch.
And then they're waving, and basically you have like the father-son waving at the logo, which is the cowboy, which then transforms into the logo. It's a great commercial, and again, you see everything you love about Rexler as Kevin Walker.
I love the cutaway to them waving, where they're clearly not actually waving to the cowboy. They're just like randomly waving at nothing, and you can tell.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's just there's something really sweet about this, and I love how just diametrically opposed it is to what Saul Goodman does later. All right. So we reveal that Jimmy is showing the film crew this commercial.
God. I'd say this is probably Kid Kubrick's best episode.
It is. Peter Gould actually said recently that Kid Kubrick is basically him in film school.
It makes sense. Makes sense. It's. I mean, to me, whenever I see the character, I always think of a young J.J. Abrams.
I can see it.
Anyways.
So, Jimmy's asking the film crew if they can do it. Now, we don't know fully what it is at this point, but I'm assuming, my first watch, I was assuming, okay, he's just wondering if they can, like, literally replicate the commercial and probably add something a little bit askew in there or something, but a little more than that. So, and of course, basically the problem is, we can do it, but the problem is Jimmy needs it ASAP, and Kid Kubrick breaks the news to him that all these setups, like roughly 10 setups, basically 10 like little film shoots in one here, and with all different backgrounds, it was the original intent. It would take at least a week, probably more. Of course, as Drama Girl says, as Haley, the Drama Girl says, yeah, we have midterms, so it's going to be more.
Yeah, that's being generous with like a few different sets and then all the complex editing.
Mm-hmm. So Jimmy's saying, look, okay, there's got to be a way. We're smart, right? There's got to be a way. So then Jimmy refuses to cut any of the spots out because we're going for shock and awe here. We can't cut anything away here. So then Jimmy, I love this, is a classic pull again. Jimmy Saul Goodman and Jimmy McGill, especially being kind of a child of the '70s. I always love when we do kind of the '70s kind of pulls for Saul, like inflatable. Where why don't we go Superman with it? He's thinking of the projection system from the Donner Superman here. Where he's saying, why don't we Superman? And of course, the kids are lost on this. The modern day kids, like they don't know how to think of Superman's green screen, like blue screen. Like, don't you mean green screen? Like I love this because I don't know when we made the leap from blue to green, because I know originally it was blue, and I guess they ran into the issue of if anyone's wearing jeans, you have to wash it out. So that's why it's now green.
Yeah, didn't they make the leap like when it went digital too? When digital effects came into play?
I believe that is the case, because I know it was blue back in, like, when Robert Zemeckis was using blue screen on Back to the Future. So blue screen was the old school way of doing it. So green screen had to be. Lucas was all. Lucas had a little bit of blue screen. The point being, I guess, fully digital is when we went green. That's the jury's out. The point being, we made the shift so the film snobs are all, it's green now, you jerk, it's green. Anyway. So,
I just love how Kid Kubrick is just like, dude, can't be done. Can't be done.
Of course, Jimmy is he's like the anti-producer here, where Jimmy's like the director, where Kid Kubrick's kind of the film producer. He's the John Walker to the Saul Goodman's Brad Bird in a sense here, where he's, we're saying like, no, we've well, why don't we get a green screen then? Of course, with the green screen, we birthed the cheesy ads for Saul Goodman. This was such when I heard green screen, I was like, yes.
It's birthed out of necessity, Dragon. It's birthed out of necessity.
Yes, and of course, do you have a green screen? So what Saul does in a pinch, he spray paints a cloth green.
I love how he's doing this like as the nail salon is still operating.
Well, no, it's like it's night. I guess. Well, no, they're all film people in there, so I think they think.
Oh no, I'm sorry. You're right. You know,
Mrs. Nguyen would never allow that. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, but that's my question to you, though, Dragon. Do you think that Mrs. Nguyen is in on this? Do you think that he paid her a pretty penny to use the set, or if he's doing this behind her back?
Well, remember, he does kind of live in the back, and he does pay rent on the place. I assume, I don't know if he looped her in or not, but
he's rent for the room.
I know that, but what I'm saying is, we've seen him at night where, like, he and Kim Wexler use, like, the facilities, like, in the way back in the first season. Though, like, I think the understanding is if she finds anything amiss the next morning, then he'll charge him extra, or, like, she'll have words for him. I think that's the understanding. So as long as he cleans everything up, she doesn't have to know about it, or she doesn't want to know. Like, okay, crazy lawyer doing stuff. Like, I don't want to, that crazy.
Right.
Oh God, I miss Mrs. Nguyen, man. I want to see her back. We've mentioned her a number of times. I want to see her again. Darn it. Anyway, Eileen Fogarty. Darn it.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. Like, for some reason, I had it in my mind that Mrs. Nguyen was like doing someone's nails. I don't know where I got that mental image.
I really don't think
dumb.
She's in this episode. I didn't.
No, you're right. She's not. I just, for some reason, my mind conjured an image of her, like, in the background, still working with a customer, and I don't know where I got that from. Moving on. I'm sorry.
Point is, we're in the nail salon. They're all preparing for the shoot here, and of course, let's see. So they have a bunch of kind of community theater actors who've been brought in kind of as day players in a sense. A whole bunch of actors doing their the old theatrical exercises like red leather, yellow leather, the whole the whole like the M's doing the exercises, and of course we have craft service as was listed off all the things you're going to need for a shoot like this, including a bunch of pizza from craft service. So we have this setup montage, but basically what they're doing with we kind of set up the montage we're about to see here, where Jimmy has like lines on cue cards. He has the actors stand on their marks. We have Saul Goodman, head of director, Saul Goodman.
Oh my God, dude! Saul Goodman could just be a director, be a commercial director, and that would be it.
Well, we've seen that technically. Lawyering director. Unfortunately, not a lot of money, not as much money in that as he would have expected, though. All right, so we have like Prospero here, the guy who basically the actor before his prostate surgery, and we have like a man of confidence. I like that. So of course Sullivan's giving him direction. You're like, okay, I want you to talk to the camera like it's a friend, but there's fear there. You're searching for a hero. Will he come? But don't hit it too hard, okay? And with feeling, which. Just all the many directions of Saul Goodman is quite funny. You can make a meal out of anything. So the montage begins, and just to hit kind of the high points here, we have like eyes open.
At this point, Dragon, I've made this before, but like Better Call Saul montage, amazing, water wet. It's like there's not much we can say when we get to Better Call Saul montages. It's just like they kind of speak for themselves, honestly.
It's just a series of really funny like directions to each actor as they're kind of like being cycled through, like eyes open, like all the hand gestures he's making. They're like no pizza in the shot. Fonzie has a Fonzie there. Of course, he has a Fonzie.
The coke out of her hand.
The cane's too much, and of course, like I love all the other like the action. He keeps changing up how to say action. Like
my favorite one is with the old woman. He's like, all right, can you smile warmly? And she just shakes her head.
No. The door. It's like 5, 4, 3, 2, magic, and he's like doing like the soft clapping for him. He's such an affectionate. He's like the Kevin Smith of directors in a sense.
That's one of my other favorite things about the montage is I love how he never says action. He says magic and acting.
Yes, I love that one. He's like doing like the glump face, and he turns the glasses.
Oh my God, the glump face, Dragon, the glump face. I want to see Bob Odenkirk literally as like a sad clown. Playing like a dramatic sad clown.
I love him giving the direction of the guy to give like the whip pan head turn, like isn't like that's like a really quick turn, like turn, the glasses bit, and the script tells like drama girl to keep on scratching, scratch like you mean it, keep scratching. Alright, so after the filming, Kim arrives. I love this shot, by the way. Like in the foreground, they have the cars outside the nail salon. She pulls up, and then like the car light, like the little light inside the car goes on. It's like she drove a car onto a stage in a theater. I love it.
All
right.
And then The shot we see is Saul Goodman bursting through the green screen, and I love how that gets paid off.
Oh yeah. So Jimmy
It's
is
like I love how Kim basically walks up on like the height of the commercial dragon, like the real like wow moment of the commercial, visually speaking.
that she does.
Anyway, sorry,
Kim,
go ahead.
so Jimmy's finishing his part. He's basically trying to finish his part of the commercial, as we've kind of gone over here. And a little fun fact: Tiki, I don't know if you've been watching these on AMC. They've been doing a bunch of like promotional stuff for Better Call Saul.
No, I'm not caught up on them. I watched a few of them like preseason.
Well, okay, they get even better, but there was a really great runner that it kind of complements this episode. I've been holding off on. I was hoping it was going to pay off in the season. Finally, it kind of pays off. So. Kim Wexler has been giving a series of lectures about the law, and guess who's been filming them?
The drama crew?
Yes, the film crew, yeah. And so Kim is actually interacting with the film crew, like she's doing with Kid Kubrick, and Jimmy's giving her some direction off to the side. She's had Howard Hamlin on for him, and it's, oh god, it's
I want that to be canon, Dragon. I want that to be canon.
That's what I'm saying. So it's kind of, for all we know, it's kind of canon. But
I did notice that Drama Girl gives Kim like a polite little wave as she knocks on the door, so maybe that's like a little bit of familiarity there.
That's what I'm saying. So like the idea is like, you know, that she did a bunch of like law lectures, and basically like she's talking about basically everything's like talking about the ethics of law or something, and they kind of parallels what the episode's going to be about next week. So it's kind of what these things have been. So it's just kind of fun. They're really clever, and again, there's also been some additional stuff like Howard Hamlin's kind of talking about dressing for success and about talking about Hamlin to go blue and everything. It's great. All right, point being, a lot of great stuff there. Nacho talking about money laundering. Anyway, so getting back on point. So, okay,
whoa, so how'd she get Nacho?
Well, no, I'm saying there were some additional things, like Nacho's not with her.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought this was all for like Kim's little side thing. I'm sorry.
Like, Howard is on Kim's, but beyond that, every character is getting spots. Like Spring has one. It's like the ones you saw before him, but they've done even more of them. So Howard got one, and Nacho got one. So they keep on.
Oh, Lalo got the cooking one, right?
Yes, Lalo got the cooking one. So far, Lalo's only gotten that. So I'm saying they've done more of those along with the Kim Wexler thing. Anyway. So, Jimmy's offering, like, hey, you want some cold pizza fondled by community theater actors?
Oh, Dragon, and it's fair to say you and I have both had that pizza, that specific pizza.
Yeah. Well, I have.
Maybe specifically the community theater part, but like the cold pizza fondled by a lot of other people.
Oh, I refuse. I've been around that pizza. I've never I have a line, man. I'm not going to go for the fondled pizza, the cold fondled pizza.
You and I are kind of in the same position then, because every time there's a pizza and it's like a big work gathering or something, I won't touch it. I won't. It's like, no, I don't want that pizza. Anyways,
when I have my get-togethers, I have my own pizza, which I will kindly share, but I have my own pizza, man. I'm not going to let that get cold. Anyway, that's why you order multiples, folks. Everyone's happy. So, getting back on point here, anyway. So Jimmy's looked into the whole Olivia Bitsui thing. 92 years young, that Olivia Bitsui, which is going to be a huge plot point later. Kim is asked. Basically, Kim's showing up for a reason here. Kim's showing up at what does Kim want, Tiki?
Well, this is like directly after episode 5 with Schweikert. Basically calling her out, like, hey, isn't it a little bit suspicious that your boyfriend suddenly swoops in as Mr. Actor's lawyer? And, so Kim is basically just wanting to call it off at this point, just like, please. And I love how, like, Jimmy is like, he's crushed by it, but at the same point, Kim's just like, yeah, you're right, it would work, but it wouldn't be worth it.
So what Kim wants to do here is she wants to basically, she's wondering if Acker's willing to sell for $75,000, which essentially means whatever offer they bring to the table, she'll fill in the gap to bring it to $75,000, which, by the way, is a practice only the noblest of lawyers do. They kind of fill in the blank. I've seen like kind of the TV version now with James Spader on Boston Legal. Sometimes he's such a nice guy, such a wonderful character. Like if he has like a really down on his luck client, and like he'll lose gleefully, but again he wants to make sure the system takes care of people. That's God, I love James Spader in Boston Legal. Anyway, point being, getting back on point here. So Jimmy swears the plan's going to work despite Schweikert's suspicions. There's no way to prove anything, he says so cockily. He says, oh, there's no way to prove
It's like, Jimmy, if you were in the room with Schweiker, you'd probably think differently.
Yep. So Kim's saying it's not worth it, and I love how eager Jimmy is here. It's like, oh, but it's like a walk-off home run after like, you get a foul. I have no idea what the baseball analogy was. I'm sorry, folks. The point being, it's like a walk-off after the home run.
Oh anyway. God, I don't really know baseball either. I know basketball. That's about it.
I played basketball, but that's about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Basketball's pretty straightforward.
Yes, pretty straightforward. Just the question you have the 2 points and the 1 point if you get the foul, I guess, or something. Anyway.
Right.
Anywho, the point being, we've seen a whole movie around St. Patrick's Day about basketball. I think we got the basics.
Okay, to be fair, that movie is like barely about basketball.
That
movie's a lot less about basketball than I remember it being in my childhood.
Better example, we've all seen Like Mike. I think we're good.
Oh, God. Like Mike. Now, there's a movie I haven't thought about in over a decade. Wow.
Like Mike,
that's a blast from the past.
Fine, Like Mike and Space Jam. Like Mike and Space Jam.
All right, Space Jam. There you go.
Anyway, 3 basketball movies later, just to sum up the scene.
Wow.
Little segue. So Kim is a really nice bit here. So again, as Jimmy's heartbroken to call the playoff, he's going with what Kim says here, and I love how Kim offers to help clean up, and you're doing all this for me. And of course, Jimmy has this great line here. Says, "Okay, just don't touch the camera." He claims it's an extension of his body. Talking about Kid Kubrick. God, I love the dynamic between Jimmy and Kid Kubrick. It's always been so fun and contentious, just silly.
All right, so next scene we have Nacho just kind of like hesitantly walking towards the camera, almost a little bit of a tease of a fourth wall break, because we're going to get the fourth wall break. We're getting there. And he's waiting on a car, Dragon, and out of the car walks Gus and Victor and
Mike.
We love Mike.
Oh,
God, here we go.
We love, right. Not only do we love the actor that is Jonathan Banks, we love the character that he brought to life for years now, for over a decade. When you look
this is one of this is one of Jonathan Banks' finest hours, man. It's so cool to have Mike Ehrmantraut in full on Breaking Bad mode with this episode.
Absolutely. Oh my God, there's so many great Mike moments too. We get to see him operating the full the kind of PI mode of Mike, which is even better. It's again we're drifting so closely into the lane of Breaking Bad. It's shocking. It's like, oh God, he's doing all the stuff. Yeah.
The only thing we need to see is him like infiltrating a warehouse and killing people in the process
with balloons.
Right. God.
But no, folks. Again, just Jonathan Banks. Mike Ehrmantraut is a character that we love so much. We like to commemorate it this time because Better Call Saul started in February, and then like with in a heart-shaped box of chocolates, essentially, kind of an advent calendar approach to kind of commemorating our love for the character of Mike Ehrmantraut, and also a little bit of I Love Lucy there because why not? All right. So Mike. Point being, Mike is properly introduced to Nacho. So yeah, all the time he's had his interactions with Nacho, he never gave his name, which is a smart move.
Right.
So now
the
introductions are made. Now
you're Michael. You're the guy that Lalo was all hung up about.
Of course, if the Salamancas ever find out, they won't. So of course, Salamancas again. That's going to be real big trouble for Nacho. He foresees like, oh God, that's that Mike Ehrmantraut guy. He's been through all this, and if Hector Salamanca puts 2 and 2 together, oh no, Nacho's going to be cheese, man. So Nacho briefs Gus on all the stuff that Lalo has been planning to cripple Gus's operations. In effect, basically making him worthless to the cartel. If Gus isn't bringing in the money, as kind of Hector gave Lalo the idea of last time they had a little visit with him. If Fring isn't bringing in the money, he's of no use to the cartel, and he's a dead man.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the plan. That's what Lalo's trying to do here. My God, Lalo, we haven't seen him in a few episodes, but based on this plan, based on what Nacho lists out for us here, my God, Lalo.
Lalo's been busy, man. He's been busy.
Dude, I love it. I love it. Even though we haven't seen him, he's been such a busy little Lalo, making his tacos and planning the downfall.
Busy little Lalo. Oh God.
He's been a busy little Lalo making his tacos and planning the downfall of Pollos Hermanos. It's tacos versus chickens, folks. That's what this all boils down to. No, but seriously, really great that he's been busy even though we haven't been seeing him. So basically, here's
El Taco versus Polos Locos.
Yes.
So
okay, so basically, Nacho, here's what he lays out here, and this Gus Fring deals with each kind of oncoming threat. So his CI Domingo is basically the plan is for Domingo to inform on Gus Fring's dealers, therefore kind of taking his men dealing with the business out of the equation. So what Gus Fring does in turn here, he tells Victor to promote the low-level dealers and maybe find some new ones, which I imagine is a little bit of an in for Walt and Jesse down the line, perhaps. I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah, we're still a couple of years away from Breaking Bad, but again, the opening is there. Now he's going to hit the supply trucks and the restaurant, and this is where things get personal. And go, okay, this is where things are going to get really bad for Fring. He's going to get his customers sick. He's going to...
man, and especially like during these times, that was kind of a cutting thing that Lalo's planning, man. That's really scary on Lalo's end.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, and also Dragon, to make light of the subject, you know what that also reminds me of?
What?
Good Burger.
Oh, yeah. Now I see.
Right.
Yeah. Oh God, Lalo's. Well, we know what Lalo's been watching in his downtime. Hey, Nacho.
That Mongo Burger villain is a really slick guy. I want to be like him.
I just love the idea of hey, Nacho, come here. I rented this movie from this movie. I guess Blockbuster would still be around in 2004, wouldn't it?
It's like he's watching Good Burger as research for taking down fast food places.
Honestly, I just think it's like a movie night with Nacho, and he got the idea yeah, I can use this. Anyway, the point being.
Is that the whole Good Burger bit was kind of a traumatic childhood moment for me. It was kind of a look of peach sort of moment where it's this sauce is going to make your Good Burger customers very, very sick. And I just remember Dragon, the emphasis on how sick the customers would actually get always freaked me out. So it's kind of fun that we go back around to a plan like this that's exactly like that, but it's actually legitimately threatening and scary. Anyways, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Point being, as Nacho says, the plan for Lalo is to chip away at Fring's business until he's worth nothing to the cartels. He's hitting him all. Not even the restaurant's going to save him. He's going to hit him all across business wise. So that's not good. So the answer, so basically now Fring's response to this is you answer to Mike, answer to this man now. So of course that's kind of Fring's response. He leaves it in Mike's hands. Mike is tasked with get Lalo out of the equation. That's kind of the plan right now. So we then have a moment between Mike and Nacho. It's been quite a while before these two have interacted with each other. It's been a spell.
Season 2?
Well, definitely 2. It might be 3.
Yeah,
it could be 3.
Okay.
It might be. I don't know 100% because I know last he saved Nacho's life at the end of season 2. I know that much.
Right.
I'm trying to remember if we did all the Price stuff in 2. If there's any Price stuff in 3 or not. I think might have been since season 2. Honestly, might have been. The point being, it's been a long time. I think it's been over a season. All right, it's been over a season or 2 probably since these two have met each other. Okay,
all right, so Nacho, he's chomping at the bits, man. He's you know the man that you're working for, right? He took me out into the desert and let me bleed out. They shot me and they let me bleed out. And then Mike's just I don't know what to tell you. I warned you about going deep. I warned you. You made a choice. You got in with both eyes open. My father didn't. And okay. Oh God, Dragon! The subtle look on Jonathan Banks' face as soon as the father is mentioned.
Okay, there's some stuff to break down here. Okay, so first off,
go ahead.
Okay, so first of all, I love that like not just trying to be all high and mighty, saying you don't know what you're in for here. You know, you don't know who you're working for. Like us Fring and all this stuff, and you're working for Fring, and they basically and Mike just counters him, but no, I warned you that when you take out Salamanca, there are going to be other people to worry about, and it was your choice. And then, of course, when the father gets brought up, remember Mike's met Nacho's father. He was a nice guy. It was a really nice interaction they had.
Right.
Mike respects Mr. Varga to an extent. And again, like he learns that Gus is holding a gun essentially to Mr. Varga's head. And again, as we were all, very terrifying sequence too, from what we saw this season. And of course, this is where the stories really parallel each other in a beautiful way here. So of course, we parallel Mike and his son to Nacho and his father. And I think Mike, whether he never admitted, but I think Mike is genuinely touched by a father's devotion to a son's devotion to his father. And of course, that gets him all misty on the deep down. And big thing, this is. Mike's response is, first Lalo, then we'll deal with this. We'll first we deal with this, then you and I will talk. So a potential solution, at least a solution to half of Nacho's problem. He's still going to have to worry about the Salamanca side of things, but again, with Mike in his corner, we know Fring's going to definitely listen to Mike here. Half of his problem, like he's not going to have to worry about Fring's men holding a gun to his head. At least that's my thought on. I think things are going to be
either
good.
that, or I have a theory, but we'll get to that with spec. I've got a lot of spec.
Well, the point being, a little bit of hope in the Nacho story with Mike in his corner. I think that's kind of a takeaway in the moment. At least that's what Nacho's frame of mind is right now.
All right, you know what? Just because we have a lot of spec to get to, I'll just throw it out here. I think that this might be an end to Mike finding the disappearer.
Well, Tiki, remember, he can't find the disappearer. Only Saul can find the disappearer.
But how do we know that Saul didn't get the disappearer from Mike?
Because Mike would have used the disappearer when everything went sideways.
Yeah, fair point.
One thing, it's been confirmed, and we know the point was just disappear, probably not the case.
Okay, I'm sorry, and I always thought that was in the table for Nacho, but...
Well, again, Jimmy might do that for him, though. That's the thing. Just Mike's not going to do it for him, so it's possible.
Gotcha. Anyways.
Anywho. Okay, so let's see. Next scene. Kim and company. They're calling Paige and, calling Paige and telling her, like, hey, we're ready for a settlement. Saul Goodman's ready to, talk settlement Wednesday. Let's set up the meeting. And, of course, I love this on the rewatch. It's priceless. Where it's so sad. Where Paige is expecting, oh, yeah, Kevin just wants to get this over with. He's probably going to celebrate afterwards. Like, Paige is expecting, like, a fun day. Like, a fun way to cap off the hard week. That's what she's expecting after this meeting. Not going to go that way, unfortunately. So,
in my heart of hearts, I would like to think, like, oh, Jimmy McGill's a fun guy. This should be a lighthearted meeting, even though we've had our differences.
Yeah.
I don't know, thinking back to the funeral and everything.
Yeah, remember it. Ken Walk and Paige never met Jimmy before. They've extended their wishes from the funeral, but they've never met him. So again, there's
you're right. Yeah, I'm sorry, Dragonite. God, I need to go back and rewatch the show clearly. Anyways.
At the very least, Kevin has, and Paige may have once, but probably not. If I'm being honest, probably didn't. Anyway. So, so Kim, this is a great scene between her and Schweiker. Take him through Schweiker as well, man.
Yeah, so Kim just kind of shoos everyone out of the room, and Kim is just like, very, very professionally just like lays the facts out. Like, look, I think I should have stayed on the case. I think that was the right call, but it was the wrong way to handle it. I shouldn't have blown up at you, and I especially shouldn't have blown up at you in front of everyone. And I apologize. And Rich, he's just like, you know what, Kim, go off on me all you want. By all means, sometimes I deserve it. I make my mistakes just like anyone else. But don't do it in front of the troops. I can't tell you how much that affects morale and team building and everything. And Kim is just like, yeah, absolutely, never again. And so then I love this power move by Rich. He cancels the lunch, but he keeps the spot. So basically, he keeps the lunch reservation, but cancels the person that he's meeting with. And then he's like, all right, let's go have lunch. And we're going to walk out of here together, or people are going to see us having lunch.
I just love that so much. Schweikert's such a cool boss, man. He's like the nicest. He's like the nicest guy ever. You know, he doesn't get the credit for it. He's always put in the antagonistic position because he's a lawyer. But I love that Schweiker such.
He's like a more. I don't know. Like I feel like Howard Hamlin and him kind of have a similar dynamic. They're maybe like mirror images of each other.
Well, again,
like
Schweiker is the Howard Hamlin for Kim Wexler. Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I'm getting at. Yeah.
Again, Schweiker, he's been nothing but he's been nothing curse. He tried to save Kim a lot of trouble last episode, which is why he confronted her and tried to take her off the thing. Not for really his own business or anything. And of course, like so, I love how defined he's like. We're going to lunch together. Everybody's going to see. And he's not like saying we're going to do this, but he's like ordering. He's just, you know what? Water on the bridge. Let's walk out there together. Show everyone, it's all water on the bridge. It's such a wonderful gesture, and I feel so bad for I don't have a good feeling about what's going to happen between Schweiker and Kim in the coming episodes. I'm so afraid.
Oh, I know.
It's going to be so hard to see. Right. So back to the Jonathan Banks love fest here. Oh my God, this is where the love fest really begins. So we have P.I. Mike back in the saddle here, folks. Is a little glimpse of what we're going to get in Breaking Bad. So he's following up on the Salamanca cover-up of poor Fred's murder. Fred, the travel wire guy. Poor guy Lalo just killed awesomely, but killed all the same.
Lalo is just like his own personal James Bond villain, Dragon. He really is.
He is. He could be the spawn of Tony Dalton. Well, Timothy Dalton.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. The Dalton of it all. Anyways.
I'd love to think that Timothy Dalton had a love child at some point in life, and it ended up just by happenstance to be Tony Dalton. That's just not remotely the case, but wouldn't it be wonderful if the world was that way? He's got the swagger of him. That's the thing. He's got the swagger of him anyway. So, of course, now, if you remember, this is really, I love how we link everything together from the Travel Wire bit, is that the idea is that, as we learn a little bit later, is that Lalo, in a pinch, he burned the whole place down to get rid of the evidence. It seemed like hide the body, right? He's burned the whole place down in a pinch, like he did with the hotel with Hector back in the day when he gave him the bell. He tells him the story about, like, oh, yeah, remember when we burnt down the hotel after we killed everybody inside? And that's why you destroy the evidence.
Right.
So that's the idea. The Travel Wire. So basically, Mike's going through the paperwork, and we're kind of visually learning this. So you see, okay, they burned the place down. He's got the information. He's looking at the ME report, and basically the fact of the matter is there was one witness that kind of ID'd Lalo, but nothing definitive, which means cops don't have a case. Mike's going to build the cop's case through his really sleuthy PI ways. So investigative ways. So he goes to the library. Where else do we do the finest learning in Albuquerque? We go to the public library, folks. So he's going through the book.
Yeah, he's looking through children's books that have been donated, and they're 25 cents a pop. And Dragon, I can tell you, this reselling books at a really cheap price because you get a lot of donations. That's totally my job. It's my job right there in a nutshell. Anyways.
So you got this. I love this. He's getting stuff for Kaylee, which I like to think is Jenny. He's probably getting a little bit of a makeup gift for Kaylee. He's trying to patch things up while he needs an excuse to be in there. So I'd like to think these books are actually going to make their way to Kaylee, which, given what Mike usually does in Breaking Bad, the evidence with the balloons, he gave her some balloons. I don't know. And of course, he's going through the book's Treasure Island and the Little Prince. Okay.
Oh, God, so he looks right at the camera when he says it, Dragon.
It's not so much looking to the camera, but he has, the way he delivers, there's a smile on Jonathan Banks' face because you know what he's thinking. And I'll remind you, the original Little Prince wrote this episode, so written in there.
Yes, I know. I'm well aware, yeah.
For the folks who may not be aware, there's this running gag off the old fourth wall joke in question here is that Jonathan Banks will always be a little kind of a little curmudgeon with the director and the writers sometimes, and he'll call him the Little Prince if they want something in a particular way. Usually the director, and when Tom Schnauz was in the directing chair, he's just like, yes, whatever you want, whatever the Little Prince wants. And it was always the sweetest thing I heard when Tom Schnauz was sick, Jonathan Banks, and this is what makes this even better, even more fourth wall-y. When Jonathan Banks, he visited Tom Schnauz when he was sick last season in the hospital, and he gave him a book of The Little Prince, which is the sweetest thing I ever heard, and And I like that. It's such a wonderful way. He calls him Little Prince, and like Tom Chen's always like jokingly talking. Oh, John thinks that crusty old SOB. It's so lovely. I was going like yes, and I was laughing so hard at this bit, knowing what that is. Like, oh God, the Little Prince, and it said it so lovingly. Oh my God, so great. Oh, that's why this is easily got a Hall of Famer for the Better Call Saul episodes alone, and then the rest of the episodes.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so we meet Lily Simmons. Lily Simmons is a really nice character. I really love this librarian character. She was really nice, a great one-off.
Mm-hmm.
So Mike's using this. By the way, Mike, there's a really sly Breaking Bad reference here. Mike's alter ego, his alias in Breaking Bad, when he does the whole PI shtick, when he does like for the cops, he's Dave Clark, the private investigator.
Oh, does it match up? Nice.
Yeah, it matches up. And like season 5, when he's doing the switcheroo with the cops and he's calling in stuff, he's Dave Clark. He's like an old cop name.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so just to summarize this a little bit here, simply can keep it simple. So
yeah, I think we could gotta pass the scene a little bit.
Okay, so the important plot point here is that she got an ID on Lalo, but a vague, tall man with a mustache is all she saw, and Dave here claims to be hired by the family to bring him closure and peace, and he's pulling on the heartstrings for here because Lily here, she donated, basically she sent money to her parents in Taiwan on a monthly basis, I guess. And that's how she knew Fred. She saw him a little bit, and she was kind of so sad to hear what happened to him. And the point being, Mike uses an old cop trick. It's kind of a dirty pool, kind of a shady cop trick here. Basically, he kind of assists in making an ID to make the case on Lalo, which of course it's kind of a corrupt cop. It's kind of like when you want to close a case and you pin it on a guy. It's kind of a false confession sort of thing. So that's what he does here. He kind of helps, shows her the car and everything, IDs the cars. That you see him get into this car, and basically kind of fills in the blanks for her and tells her to call Detective Tim Roberts. Don't mention you got it from a PI. Detective Tim Roberts, did you recognize this guy?
No, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's fine. Tim Roberts, he was, I recognized him too. I didn't quite place where he was, but Tim Roberts was Hank's buddy, the one who got him back in the saddle with the mineral thing of it all. Tim Roberts was the guy who gave him the case files and told him to look into the whole Heisenberg of it all.
Oh, wow, man, that's a deep cut right there, man.
Yeah, so he's like all throughout, I guess, the season. I guess a little bit of 3 and 4, that's when Tim Roberts was.
Yeah, this just goes to show that this whole, like, Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, it really is, like, the crime epic of the decade so far, or of the century, I would say.
TV's Godfather,
just
folks.
so many moving parts to it.
Okay, so basically, you get the information there and says that is. Anyway, so he's very. I love how John thanks us for in this scene, really nice, and he's laying on the charm factor really nicely, and that is a huge help, Lily. It's adorable. It's great. All right, so she's calling in the information. Meanwhile, Saul Goodman, what's he doing?
Well, he's defending a couple workers, couple street workers. I don't know how would you say it, Dragon? How would you be polite about the terminology here?
Well, the polite terminology is, I guess you could say escorts. You could say some ladies of the day.
Escorts, yeah. Ladies, yeah. I was gonna call them ladies of the night, but it's not night. They're specifically working at lunch.
Or
so
probably Wendy's friends. If you want another way of looking, Wendy's friends.
Wendy's friends. There you go. There's a spinoff.
Okay. Anyway, so the point being is we have some really happy, satisfied clients in kind of our kindly prostitutes. Let's just kindly though. Kindly prostitutes. Who basically offer. Let me put it this way: they offer some. They're very satisfied with Jimmy. Like you got him off really, quite fast and without any hassles. They offer him a thank you, let's say, and he's in a relationship right now. Here's the thing: pre-Breaking Bad, as we know later, Saul Goodman would easily take him up on this offer in Breaking Bad. But again, he's with Kim Wexler now, a little more responsible. He says no, very politely though, despite the offer of a.
Well, I love how the offer comes with a warm towel, and Saul Goodman pretends to consider it, like, oh, warm towel, huh? You know what? I'm gonna decline.
It's just so he turns it down so politely though. It's just it's quite nice. And I love how he
Right.
shows some care for him, saying, "You know what, guys, you're going right back to, well, the restaurants don't close at noon." That whole thing where it says, "Well, okay, just try to be careful." I love he just again a little bit of Jimmy McGill within the Saul Goodman here. He's showing like, come on, guys, try to be careful instead of like, hey, when you come back, I get more money. That's Saul Goodman. So anyway, Jimmy then has an idea. Saul Goodman has an idea.
Cue the Grinch joke. He has an idea, an awful idea. Then Jimmy had a wonderful, awful idea. It fits here, Dragon. I know we use that joke too much, but it fits
that's why
here.
I queued you up for it. Yeah,
the only thing that's missing is like a really sly, like Grinch style smile from ear to ear.
So we had an idea, an awful naughty idea, one could say.
Pretty naughty idea, man. It really is. I mean, Jimmy's just like rubbing it in Howard's face at this point,
literally.
man.
So basically, he's asking how much an hour of their time would be, which is like, oh god. And then, of course, the minute we cut to the restaurant, the hotel, I was like, oh god, I know where this is going, and it just keeps getting better and better, but worse and worse for Howard as it goes. First of all,
as I saw Ed Begley Jr. in the credits, I got excited.
Here's the thing. I was so entranced. This keeps happening to me. Sometimes I'm going to be so entranced by the opening because I look at every frame, but sometimes when I'm looking at every frame of the action, I might miss like some of the credits. So I was completely surprised.
Oh, I got Ed Begley Jr. Ed Begley Jr.'s name caught my eye.
I don't know if maybe I'm trained not to look at it because I like to be surprised. I don't know. It's either that or I'm so entranced by like what's going on.
Right. Yeah.
All right, so Howard Hamlin's going to lunch, and not only is he going to lunch, he's going to lunch with Cliff Main, the great Ed Begley Jr. He's like, oh my god, it's Cliff Main!
Yeah. But not before he takes the time to shake hands with Judge Green, because word's gotten around about Judge Green's big hole-in-one.
Yep, and the fact
because Howard Hamlin likes the tea time dragon.
He does. He does. Howard Hamlin always chatting about golf, and of course, when he goes golfing, I'm sure he's drinking some tea.
Albuquerque's biggest golf enthusiast. He could run a local golf podcast.
I'm sure he could. So, but seriously, this is really a great setup here. They're gossiping about the judge who retired to his young law clerk. So, cue the ladies, these ladies who are interrupting them, and of course, I love the over-the-shoulder shot where Ed Begley Jr. is basically Cliff Main is conversing with Howard, and Howard's just looking.
He's just so helpless throughout this entire bit, man. I love it. Patrick Fabian is just on fire with this.
Fabian is just, oh god, I love Patrick Fabian so much, and this is just, oh no, this is where it gets, I don't know how much better it could get. So Howard's there, and then you have Cliff Main, and they're talking about, the lawyers having, these younger little flings. Enter these two ladies, and they're starting Howie, you know why we're here. It's just, I don't. It's basically making a scene.
So defensive, and they're just not backing up at all. They're just like, you owe us, Howie. I don't know you at all. I don't know you. Oh God, what is the line?
Okay,
you don't get on a Carnival cruise without taking the tugboat. I don't know any tugboats.
Well, you're forgetting the best part. You're forgetting about Joe Dog.
Right. I don't know any Joe Dog, and I don't know any tugboats.
Oh god, it's Howard Hamlin is just trying to play as classy as he can. Your heart goes out to Howard Hamlin. He's being as respectful as he can.
To get out of the situation, and Howard Hamlin's like, no, Cliff, I got this. I don't know these people.
and he tries he tries to lead her out of the room. Very bad idea, especially with these ladies in their line of work. So basically, he touches her on the shoulder or something, and of course, they just I love the high pitched scream, and they're like, "You don't touch me!" And of course, we just smash cut to. Smash cut to the outside, where it gets even better. You have Saul Goodman giving his own play-by-play, kind of dubbing over the events we're seeing happen through the window as the scene is going on. After it's I don't know no Joe Dog, and I owe no money, and it all plays out. No, Cliff, those aren't my hookers. They're somebody else's. No, Cliff, my hookers were taller. As Jimmy, this Saul Goodman's remarks, oh God, I'm good. And he's just like, and again, the ego boost, I would infer that the ego boost of this little kind of like side scam here gives Saul Goodman the push to fight for Kim even when she says, not to.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I like the way I read this is like he totally sees the plan. The whole bit of like, Kim not knowing about the plan and that protecting her, like everything is coming together in his mind and in his own mind. He only sees the positives. He's not seeing the negatives. And yeah, this is absolutely the birth of the idea right here, or at the very least, what he needs to sign off on it.
Again, every little Saul Goodman win is just like he's like shading out every last little remnant of Jimmy McGill in his DNA. It's like shaving it out. It's like it's kind of rubbing it out of existence. Where it's like any like little moral conscience. Kim said not to do this, but hey, look what I did with the hookers and Howard Hamlin. Ha ha ha! There's an HHM for you. And basically, yes, I'm gonna. Oh yes, I'm gonna make Kim's dreams come true. We're gonna roll around that dirt with me, Kim. Ah. Anyway. So he calls Olivia Bitsui and says, "Have you ever heard of a bank called Mesa Verde?"
Mm.
Okay, so now we're at the Albuquerque PD, and we have Mike doing his old infiltration in the break room gambit that he did last season.
This is classic, man. This is classic Mike. Oh my God.
Basically intimidates the earnest little clerk here about the file. Basically, he planned the file that has basically the information that basically seems like the information the cops had that is then being confirmed by the information that he's put into play with the librarians. Basically, this confirms everything. So
it's an inner office envelope. It's got a date on it. How long's it been there?
Just great.
And where's it supposed to be today?
With Detective Roberts? Then why don't you get it to him?
Don't you think that Detective Roberts should get it sometime today? Dragon, I love the idea that like this guy just like he sees Mike and it's just an instant command of respect. You know what I mean? Just like Mike is just like you see Mike Ehrmantraut and you just think, all right, this guy knows what he's doing. He's a superior of my superior. Essentially, is the vibe that he's given off. It's like, oh God, a corporate bigwig.
Yep. So Roberts, I love Roberts with the possum call. The possum call is really funny too. He's going about like, well, listen,
it's most likely a possum. Yes, if it's a dead body, then I'll investigate it. But first, you need to call animal control. That's right.
You can also use a flashlight if you can't fit under your porch. Chances are it's not a dead body. Just great. So anyway, then the point being, all the information, the form matches what the information they just got with the Lalo ID. So now they can actually act on it. So. And it also, we call back the whole the parking lot fiasco from the climax of last season.
Oh my God, I love how that gets called back. That's wonderful. That was my favorite bit from the entire finale, I think.
Which again confirms, like, okay, we can definitely match this car, because look at the car that got into trouble that day, followed by the travel wire thing that happened, not so far away from that.
Right.
All right. So, let's see. So,
okay. Oh God. Where do we start? This is a feast.
All right.
This is a 3-course meal, Dragon.
Oh boy, someone bring the Danishes and the donuts. We're gonna be at the long one.
All right. Oh God. Oh man, I'm legitimately intimidated about talking about this scene, Dragon.
Okay, so first off, Saul Goodman, he's running late, which of course is an omen. I love it's like the subtle omen that Saul Goodman's running late. Whether it's from the Howard Hamlin affair of it all or not, I can't say. The point being, Saul Goodman's running late, which is an omen that something's going a little amiss here in Kim Wexler's plan. Like she didn't intend for him to run late, so it's like, oh boy, he's cooking somebody showing up late on purpose there to tick him off. So Saul Goodman finally arrives. He's initially very friendly, very cordial, like complimenting everybody in the room. He's working the room. It's like, hey, as he reunites with Bruce Schweikart, hey, of course he's seen him a couple times. It's like, hey, always a pleasure, Jimmy. Hey, it's Saul Goodman, Saul the time.
Saul Goodman during business hours.
Yep.
Yeah, I Paige his meetings for the first time. She's like, very nice to meet you. So yeah.
You're the brains behind the operation because you hired Kim. And of course, Kevin's saying, well, I think she's right about that, saying, oh, yeah, you're definitely not the brains of the operation put me through this. A little subtle shade by Kevin Wachtel. But
God, I love the layers that we're getting on Kevin Wachtel this season, Dragon, because before this season, he was just the big dumb guy who liked the models. You know what I mean?
They were really good models, though.
Yeah, they were, but I'm just saying, like, an argument could be made that Kevin Wachtel is, like, the antagonist of this whole season, and I love that. I love how we've slowly built this guy up.
I'm gonna do you one better with that. That's a great idea. You inspired something in me, Tiki. You know what he was the whole time? He was, and you built him up so well, he was the whale of the ultimate scam.
Yeah, oh yeah.
For Kim and for the whole slipping Kimmy of it all. He was the ultimate whale up for them. He was that's what he was. He was the ultimate scam target for them that was under their nose the whole time. Just kept building up each season. It was the most painful one too because he built up a likability with the guy who's an innocent and all this. He was just the kid who liked the models from the commercial. That's all he was.
Exactly.
All right, so
now I really want to see this guy on that drama you keep hyping up where he's a scary villain.
He is. He's really, again, you gotta just watch the first 2 seasons of Lethal Weapon. Trust me, you're gonna like him.
All right.
Anyway, getting back. All right. So of course, Kevin, I recognize you by the impressive belt buckle. Again, being really cordial as he can be in the situation where Kevin's already, this guy's already put me through the ringer here. But again, Kevin's being respectful though. He's being respectful while he can be to him here. And of course, like, hey, Viola, what's up? And of course, he's met Viola before. Oh yeah, sure, everything's good.
Oh, I love that. It's not Viola, and Viola just has no idea how to respond.
Yeah. By the way, just because we're shouting out Kevin Wachtel.
Man, I feel like everyone in this scene, like everyone watching this scene, is Viola Dragon. They're just like the fly on the wall that doesn't want to be there.
They absolutely are. Also, it's because we shout out Rexlin again. Viola, I love this actress. She's really great on Prodigal Son right now. She's just as fun, like she's the fun medical examiner. I really like her. Anyway, so so it's fun that we brought her back here. She was fully busy on that. So we open negotiations here. Kim offers Saul Goodman $45,000, which again, given what they're going for here, not bad. She's swimming in Mesa Verde money, so she could easily kind of make it up to the 75. Point being, 45. Pretty much where they want to be, and maybe they can negotiate a little bit up. So, Jimmy's figure. Let me go to Jimmy's figure, and what I love about this too, the great layers that Kevin Wachtel. Like Kevin Wachtel, he's a businessman. I think Kevin will never admit it, but he respects the effort that Saul Goodman went to for his client. So he's like willing to go up a little bit on the price to put it all behind him. If this is like the settlement. So I love that Kevin's like willing to dicker. He's like, I know there's going to be some dickering around with this. So yeah, I love that he was willing to dicker a little bit with it. He was willing to go up a little bit on the price. I love that. But Jimmy's figure, what is Jimmy's figure, Tiki?
$4 million. And in that moment, Dragon, Ray Seahorn's face, oh my god, that's when everything changes.
Kim's reaction is like gobsmacking. Like, oh god, she's completely blindsided by this. He sandbagged her. Oh my god. So now we have the scams diverge. The diverging scams at play right now.
Dragon, at this point, like, this is honestly one of the best watching live TV moments that I've experienced since Crawl Space, man. Since Crawl Space.
I gotta tell you, this takes me back. I'm sorry, go on. Yes, Crawl Space.
Just the whole, like, oh my god, this is such a hole that Jimmy's digging for himself. Like, this, and it's the opposite of Crawl Space because Jimmy McGill is loving it, even though it's leading to his own demise in some ways. And it's, just so many emotions on the table. You feel the fury of Kevin, you feel the embarrassment of Kim, and yet you're totally just like laughing hysterically at the commercial at the same time. There's so many things going on in the scene, Dragon. It's masterful TV.
And again, it reminds me so much of like episode 9 from season 3. The whole like the moment I was like ashamed of Jimmy McGill. Like, oh no, how could you scam poor Irene? Oh no. That whole thing is again like where I'm feeling genuinely disgusted, but also fascinated by the character, and that's like the mark of good storytelling right there. It's like, oh, Saul, how could you do this to poor Kim and Wachtel? So let's see. So then we have. Oh god, it keeps digging here. So Kim tries to reclaim control of the room right now by clearing the room just the lawyers. So then. Oh god. So Saul Goodman pulls essentially what he's doing here, the whole gambit. And I love this links in the Breaking Bad, by the way. He's pulling the Pinkman gambit, where essentially he is armed with information that he's basically building. He's building to here, where. Without the show that he puts on, he could have just walked in there with he shows up acting all cordial and he drops the bomb of like, and I have you over a barrel like he did with the Pinkman's house, and I know about the meth lab, that whole thing. And this is like the proto version of that here. Where he walks into the room and kind of negotiating, where Kim frantically knowing she knows what's on that thing. Well, she doesn't know what it turned out to be, but she knows what the plan was because she worked with him on it. So frantically, Kim is trying to discourage Kevin from sticking around. Like, Kevin, you don't have to answer that, Kevin. You can leave the room. And then once, oh, guys, Jimmy goes for it. He goes for the original plan of the video, and it's and just I love
it's got your dad in it, Kevin. Your dad's in this one.
When I heard that, I was like, oh no. I was so enamored with that earlier commercial, knowing how much that probably meant to Kevin Wachtel. It's like, oh no. So this is a completely unrelated matter, and it's like, oh no. And your dad's in this. The minute you say your dad's in this, I was like, oh no, he's making light of his father. And Kevin Wachtel's a very proud, really nice guy. So Saul Goodman. Basically, Saul Goodman's ad against Mesa Verde begins. So, think of what's so fascinating about this, Tiki. We now have a dark context to every corny Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul advertisement.
Sure.
Now every time we see it, every time we've laughed at it, now we know the dark origins of it.
Totally.
And at some level, what Jimmy might be feeling in the back of his mind every time he shoots those commercials or they play. So, what it starts off like, what is
that with Kim exactly? We'll see. Speculation.
We'll see. So, start off like, what is Mesa Verde hiding? Never a good start. So, essentially, I'm sorry, you want to take us through the commercial?
Yeah, I'll try. So we just get a bunch of actors like, it's not right. It's un-American. Oh, God, I'm sorry, Dragon. There's so much here. I don't know where to start. It's a treasure trove. It's a treasure trove.
All the actors thrown atop the old green screen here, and basically on top of the old butcher. Basically, we butchered the really nice, wholesome ad with all the Saul Goodmanisms we know and love from Breaking Bad. And basically, we're using all the people, all the spots, all the setups to refute all the wholesome, genuine claims. I like to think remain true with Mesa Verde. By the way, I like to think that Kevin Wachtel remained true to the principles his father set for 10 years. At Mesa Verde, I'd like to think that makes this even worse. So sure. Mesa Verde, sure. Mesa Verde took my home, and I never.
It's all just like totally ridiculous, over the top, completely untrue things. There's no fact in any of it. It's all a charade.
And again, all of this designed just to rile and kind of scare Mesa Verde. That's what all this is designed. None of it's supposed to actually stand up or anything. And basically, we're kind of framing it like one of those mesothelioma ads, essentially. Like, but again, the cornier version of that, where it's un-American. Of course, we intercut it with, Jay Johnson.
Oh God! My dad was just losing it at the yups, Dragon.
Again, this is why you get Jay Johnson, to bring home like a bit like this. And playing him off the
that's like a 1 second soundbite, but they use it so much. Oh my God! It's glorious.
All right, so then
Dragon, can I just say? I want to start a petition for AMC to release the uncut version of this commercial without the cutaways and everything.
Well, Tiki, you know it's going to be on the DVD, though.
Oh, will it be on the DVD? Okay.
Well, I'm saying that's what they usually do with commercials. I mean, chances are it'll be on the commercials, or they're going to put it on the YouTube channel. It's going to be one of the two. That's usually what they do.
Man, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to have to wait until the DVD inevitably comes out to watch this thing in full glory.
Well, it might be both. It could be both as well. The point being, I'm pretty sure it's going to when they did the first Saul Goodman Starlight commercial, that was on the Blu-ray. So. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Again, I hope we're going to get a Blu-ray. That's the thing. I got to hope that we're going to still get Blu-rays. I'll say that much. Anyway.
I'm Don Wachtel.
So Saul Goodman makes his grand entrance. I love this. He walks through the curtains. I love that so
Burst through the screen.
It doesn't get more. It's more fourth wall than that, folks. So. So Kevin's offended. Kevin's offended by all the libel and all the defamatory nature of the whole thing, and then it gets worse and just basically Jimmy here is like saying wait here, because basically Saul Goodman saying, hey, call this number and like, if you've been wronged by Mesa Verde, call now and I'll represent you. And then it gets worse as he's waiting gleefully. Oh wait, you gotta watch this part. So we have Drama Girl basically with I went into Mesa Verde and I got a rash. Then of course like a black mold. They're like, oh, there's some black mold in there, and even if, because now we're making the legal point there, even if Saul Goodman can't run these ads legally, the news will run them for free. And again, like these will ideally they'll run like in all the places where all the different branches are, and in Texas and New Mexico and all over the place, Arizona. So the idea, though, so again, point being, this is all going to do sorts of damage. I think it's really, this is where I feel really bad for Kevin here. And they have like the old woman saying, "I walked into Mesa Verde," and
this. Oh my God, this was taking it a step too far, man. Even for Saul.
And here's the thing: what he does here is he bleeps out Walktel's name. So basically, he skirted by with a legal loophole here because he didn't say anyone's name, like Mr. Bleep, with his pants down and with his bare male genitals, and that's too far. So my father never did that. And that's going too far. And of course, Mesa Verde charged me extra fees, and I did some digging. My extra fees went to terrorism.
Yup.
So the point being. So Saul Goodman, he has plenty of.
But meanwhile, like Paige and Schweikart, they're just all like, "There's no way in hell you can air this. It's defamation."
Mm-hmm. Which again, point being, he'll air it on the news if he has to, whether it's legal or not. He'll get out there. People are going to see it, and it's going to do damage here. And Saul has plenty of copies. Kim calls this black. Kim is the smartest lawyer in the room here, as she points out. He's going up against Saul Goodman like she didn't even intend to in the meeting, but she's holding her ground, man. That Kim Wexler is strong as an ox here. We're legally
sitting right next to Schweikart. Schweikart's taking it all in.
Mm-hmm. Where Kim essentially makes a really smart lawyer call that this is Blackman. You can't use one case as leverage against another case. Again, the way he's doing it right now, you can't threaten to do this if your other case isn't met. And Jimmy says it's right, which he's basically used all of this as a smokescreen to move on to his next topic, which is Olivia Bitsui. And this is where things get serious, folks. This is basically the thing we were predicting.
Kim is just panicking. She's panicking. Like, Kevin, do not say anything. As your attorney, I advise you to not say it. This is where it's like, oh boy. To quote Dr. Strange Dragon, we're in the end game now.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are, sir. So we have this. So basically, we learned that Olivia Bitsui, Native American kind of self-portrait, photography enthusiast. She took a bunch of pictures, and 54 years ago, she took a picture of a cowboy, which essentially is the exact model of the Mesa Verde logo. Kevin's father, I believe, bought bought the picture, bought a print.
Yeah, I love how Kevin at first was just like, "Oh, I can handle this, Kim. My family bought that picture fair and square." Yeah, but you didn't buy the rights to the picture, Kevin. You bought a copy of the picture.
They don't even bring it up, but just mention the Native American thing. Imagine how it's going to look on the.
I love how that never gets brought up, and it's just implied. Yeah, you're right.
So it's just like that's yet another reason he does not. You don't want this thing being dragged in the court, or more. If it ever gets dragged into the press, like Mesa Verde, they've stolen the rights of the arts of a Native American woman. Like, oh, you never. It's like, oh god, it's like misappropriate. You never want that. It's going to be really bad for, especially in New Mexico. That's not going to go good for him.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Right.
So the point being, and a 92-year-old woman too. That's even worse. It's like, that poor 92-year-old woman. At the point, and so anyway, it holds. So, and we have this beautiful visual here too. Where he basically holds up. I think he holds up the photograph that she took, as he says, as he foolishly admits to in front of a room full of lawyers. Yes, I bought that, and I have it. My father bought that, and I even have it in my house.
Oh, so you're admitting that you own a copy of it? You're admitting that, yeah.
But not the copyright. He holds it up to the projection, like it literally lines up just almost identically to the cowboy, the visual ad, which is very darning evidence. And this is where it gets really cruel in the Saul Goodman dialogue here. It's not your fault. Sins of the father. And I was, oh man, that's really harsh. Sins of the father. He's blaming Waltel's dad. He's right. It's accurate, but it's really harsh. So then, okay, so then we have.
Now take it down all your horsey logos or slap a big tarp over them.
So basically, the injunction.
And this will be settled in, I don't know, a couple years. So we'll be seeing a lot of each other. And then Dragon, he makes the ultimate exit, and this is so Walter White-esque, the way he exits, and he just whistles, "We're in the money, we're in the money." Oh, so God, that's chilling, Dragon. That's a chilling exit.
It is. I mean, we've seen, this is the first time we've really seen Saul Goodman, like, let off the chain, like, full Saul Goodman. Like, again, this is what Jimmy warned, and Jimmy did warn Kim it would get like this. He did warn her, in all fairness, that it would get really personal, would get really cruel, and making this happen.
Let me just say, at this point, I feel like all bets are off when he was planting that seed, like, he was totally intentionally planting that seed. Like, there's no way he was unintentionally doing it.
I don't know, I think subconscious, I don't know, I'm still in this whole subconscious thing, where I think he was prepared to go there, but he didn't think Kim was, he didn't want Kim to do it, but I think he was fully prepared to do it.
All right.
That's just me. Anywho, point being, this is bad news for Kevin, this injunction, which, again, he's all about aggressive expansion. He's all about, like, manifest destiny within the banking industry. He's all his models and building banks and call centers and everything. So this, like, you're going to have to cover the logo, your father's logo, the thing you built your whole identity on. The thing, even Howard Hamlin likes this thing, by the way. Remember Howard Hamlin, the first stamp he bought was like a Mesa Verde stamp. Or the first account was a Mesa Verde account because he loved the cowboy image. Big thing you're taking away from Kevin. There's a giant statue of it in the lobby of Mesa Verde. It's a huge. You have to put a giant tarp over and take it down. So we come back and we have this awesome pushing. Oh God, I love this pushing shot. As all the lawyers are frantically discussing their options, we just pushing on Kevin, taking it all.
Man, he's just like you feel the stress on this guy. He wants to explode.
Oh yeah, and again, it's also kind of facing the fact that your father didn't cover all the angles. It's a painful thing for him, I'm sure. It's like, oh, you feel my heart goes out to Kevin Waltell.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So Kevin walks out of the room. Kim stops. Like, Kevin, listen, whatever you do, don't do anything rash. And he says, Kevin, Kim, I just need to go to the men's room here. Do you mind? Well, he says non-combatively. Point being, you excuse me, I need to leave, go to the restroom. So he does that, and of course, as he's doing, he's dialing the number on the screen.
503-4455. Call now.
Yep. I just love this. He's so frustrated as he's dialing that phone. Anyway, he learns that he's still in the parking garage, and that brings us to the big handshake deal of it all here, folks. So Kevin's in the parking garage. He's asking.
Because nothing has ever gone wrong with a handshake deal, right, Dragon? If you've ever seen The Founder, nothing ever goes wrong with a handshake deal.
Or Bob Kane and Bill Finger. That's a better example for it. Handshake deal.
Right.
Anyway,
I don't know. I feel like The Founder is almost equally as a historic. They're both cultural icons.
I mean, again, creation of Batman, McDonald's. Batman was around longer, though. I'll make that point.
Yeah, but I feel like arguably McDonald's is even bigger of a financial juggernaut than Batman is.
All
right, you're arguing more pop culture icons here. Anyways, go ahead.
Listen, Batman Forever, McDonald's glasses aside here. Let's get back on point.
All right, that's a good place to end the conversations. Batman Forever, McDonald's glasses. There we go. Anyways.
So Kevin's asking, what is it going to take? No BS. What is it going to take? And now Jimmy makes the point. Basically, what Kim said in the room here, I can't use one case to influence the other here. So again, basically, he's saying it's a little legal loophole here. Where they can't officially make a deal like this. I'm not allowed to blackmail a deal in which actor gets to keep his home. Like, basically, Kevin's saying, okay, basically, I'll listen to what all my lawyers said I should have done the first place. Let actor keep his land, put the call center in the other place I own. Which would have been the smart play, but now you're just a third-rate huckster, and he says, "But Kevin, can you just close your eyes and imagine?" Basically, this is
can I just say when he says, "But Kevin," he's totally using the Kim voice there, Dragon.
A little bit, yeah.
Kevin, nice, Kevin.
So what's great about this too, and I kept thinking, I kept thinking this scene was going to end. I kept thinking Kevin's going to punch him in this scene. I really did.
Oh, man. I mean, he's not far off from it.
Because I think obviously if he punched him, he would have had, it would have been like the Walter White thing. He would have like had made a whole tape and like, look at what Kevin Wachtel did to my face. Money.
Sure.
Not that simple, but okay. Anyway, so this is great though. He's using this whole like close your eyes and imagine a world, as in he's saying what his demands are. Essentially, that's what he's using all this as kind of a spokescreen for in the legal loophole sense here. Where he's saying, Kevin, can you close your eyes and imagine a world where Acker gets to keep his house and the $45,000 that you offered, and gets a public apology. Also, imagine a world where Olivia Bitsui is compensated, let's say, $200,000 for her work and in perpetuity, basically she gets any residuals going forward. And let's throw in a public apology. And let's imagine a world where, if all that happens, the injunction goes away and the commercials go into a vault, never to see the light of day. Can you think of a world like that? Could you think of a world we could have to shake hands on that? Jimmy extends his hand. We don't see what happens. I love that we don't see what happens with that handshake deal, too, by the way. I love that. It's like, oh, boy.
All right. So, let's see. So, Nacho informs Mike of exactly where Lalo is. Mike uses his cop persona, to call in the location. And, oh, God, I love this. I love this moment with Lalo, where he sees the cop behind him, pulling him over, and he reaches for the gun for just a second, Dragon. Just a second, he reaches for the gun.
Oh, yeah. I was so excited.
He's considering it.
Yeah, if it's one, Lalo was gonna take his chances. He was, and he probably
right.
Away.
Right.
I think, like, if it were two cops, I think he'd still take the chance. But obviously, when there's more, it's like, okay, yeah, it's a no-go. By the way, my favorite little detail: they're playing the Ant-Man song.
Oh no, are they?
If I'm saying it right, Barambam. Like the whole, dun 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 dun. Barambam. That whole, Anyway, I love it. The opening end. And anyway, so point being, good scene. He drops his keys out the window. Not, Lalo knows the no.
Better Call Saul.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that's some big stuff. So Kim, meanwhile, return. Oh, here's the big scene, folks. Forget this. Forget the Lalo stuff. Forget like the big cartel stuff. Let's talk about the real heart of the matter. Let's talk about the real intense stuff.
Oh.
Drug cartel, Pshaw, lawyer drama. That's where it's at, anyway. So Kim returns home to Jimmy playing, and again, another great musical thing here. Jimmy's playing "Smoke on the Water," which essentially is the theme song that birthed Saul Goodman, and also on the ill-gotten guitar he got when he slipped and fell in the music store.
Right.
So let's see. So now we have the big full circle payoff scene of the whole episode here. We full circle. Kim is hearing her mother in this scene, big time. So Jimmy's in the position of Kim's mother with basically all the. But again, Jimmy is making he's making a questionably sincere apology here. Where again, it's like I think he thinks it's sincere, but he's not. He has no ounce of irony of the situation here. He's not really seeing at all like what he did wrong. So
I don't think it's great that he can lead with an apology, for example.
Well, you're right about that. Well, I mean, actually, I think he leads. He kind of leads with an apology.
No, not really. He just walks in and he's just like, she walks in and he's like, hey, how'd it go? Tell me how Kevin squirmed, And then he gets the sense that she's pissed, and then he's like, all right, you're right, apologies.
I guess, yeah.
So it's not an instant apology, Dragon. It's not an instant apology. Like, if I were him, I'd be bent over backwards, like, as soon as she walks through that door, Dragon, I'd be like, please understand, hear me out,
Well, the fact that he was playing Smoke on the Water is now like, and he's laying back on it.
That's what I'm saying, man. That does not make a good first impression for this situation that is going to be very combative. Like, you anticipated being very combative.
Yes, so he sandbagged Kim, but again, her anger. He basically spins it that her anger worked to throw Rich Schweikert off the scent. So that's basically why he claims he didn't loop her into. Which I do believe, by the same token, I think he also wanted a little bit of a surprise factor in there, just for like, I'm going to make Kim. I think he was kind of thinking, this is going to be like a great romantic gesture. She's not going to see until the aftermath, but still, I think it's going to take. So I love how
kind of a miscalculation there. We maybe, I don't know. It's so hard to tell after the ending.
Again, it is mostly justification, a little bit of like romantic gesture, I'm sure, but it's like mostly again. I think he had his bases covered. Like, again, this is for the. She said Schweiker was on the sense. So basically, he didn't factor her emotions into the thing, which is his major miscalculation. So, Kim, I love how quiet she is in the scene. She's speaking very little before she really pops in the scene here. Very much like Kim with the cello at the start of things.
Oh, yeah.
Emotions like that, you can't fake. No, you can't. So, oh, God, Kim's
you can't.
Like,
yeah.
The pot is simmering, man. The pot's simmering. The curry's about to pop.
Oh, God.
So Kev's asking, here's your bit, man. Take it.
Yeah, he's asking if Kevin said anything, and then Kim's like, "Well, Kevin, no, do the voice." That is the most heartbreaking moment of the episode right there, Dragon, because it's just like, oh, Jimmy doesn't get it. He's just like, no, like when he says "do the voice," Dragon, he clearly doesn't comprehend the extent in which he let her down.
Yep. So Kevin is sick of lawyers, and he basically, but apparently, and again, this gives me some hope here. Right? Kevin says he's sticking with the handshake deal, which again, Kevin Wachtel, honorable man compared to Saul Goodman. I think he would stick with the handshake deal. I buy that.
Uh-huh.
So Jimmy thinks all is good, and basically he thinks they should celebrate with like steak dinners and tiramisu and the whole 9 yards. That's where his head's at. Right?
The whole time he's just like completely misreading her, man. He's misreading her so badly.
And again, big
this
circle
is not something to celebrate in her eyes.
And again, he's using the old movie always uses here with the kind of trying to make things up with the food and the dinner plans. Again, identical to Kim's mom.
Mm-hmm.
And again, importantly though, in Jimmy's defense, Jimmy is doing the plan that she approved of, despite his warning her that again, this is warning her, but again, ultimately he disregarded. The problem is though he disregarded her choice to nix it for the safer play. That's the big proviso there. It's like she did this plan, and he did warn her it was going to get really ugly. But again, she did hear this too late. Apparently, there was a little too late in the game when he had too much. He had too much fleet in his ego. Unfortunately, she did not factor that into the equation. So again, the ambition of Saul Goodman in conflict with the trust of Kim Wexler. That's kind of what that whole thing's about. So the moral. Oh God! So the moral is, things got done. Jimmy's thinking everything's great right now. Everyone got everything they wanted. Acker's got his land. Kevin Wachtel still gets his call center, and we all win. You won, Jimmy. What do you mean? No, we win. Us. Oh God, it sounds like a kicked puppy here. Like, hey, us. We're So Kim doesn't trust Jimmy anymore. So she really lays that on Front Street. I don't trust you anymore. You played me. You made me a sucker. And what happens to you? What is Jimmy's? What are their responses to this?
Oh God, I'm sorry, Dragon. I don't have it specifically written down, the actual response.
Well, basically, okay. So Jimmy says, "How are you a sucker?" And all this. It was your plan. What is her response? It was your plan.
You turned you and me versus the bank into you versus me. No, I'm sorry. Her response to it was your plan was "fuck you, Jimmy."
Yes.
I'm sorry.
She goes,
that's what you're fishing for. My bad.
Then she goes on to say, you took just you and me versus Mesa Verde, and
Can I just say I love that if you buy these episodes off Amazon or anything, you get the uncensored version.
Well, they're still airing the uncensored versions when these premiere on AMC, right? And
are they still really?
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is, but they're uncensored now. Basically, if they air in the daytime, I assume if they marathon them in the day, if you want to play catch up on them, then they would be censored. But when they premiere, F-bomb.
Okay, right. That makes sense. Yeah. Wow.
Anyway.
I remember when South Park made a big deal out of you being allowed to say shit on TV. Times have changed. Anyways,
basically, she's upset you turned you and me against the bank into you versus me, which again she not approved. She didn't approve of this episode title at all. She didn't see this in writing. She didn't want any of this.
And, the great subversion of expectations here, somewhere in a dark corner, Ryan Johnson is nodding in approval. You hear a title like Wexler v. McGill, you think it's going to be a courtroom drama the whole way through. And, of course, we've already been set up with, like a chicanery episode. You think it's going to be chicanery, but it's not. And that's the great part about the episode. And also, Dragon, can I just say, I kind of neglected to mention this, but I'm sure you and I both had the same reaction once Kim calls off the commercial shoot, which is no, there's no, this is too easy. This is too easy. She can't get off this easy. There's got to be something that goes down. And the fact that, there's this lingering thread of Saul Goodman throughout the whole episode, and you're just waiting for it to blow up in her face. I'm sorry, I'm getting into kind of final thoughts territory here, but go ahead.
Okay, so basically she's saying it's like this over and over again, and this is where they're having a conversation they should have had at the start of the season, right? And this is where it's all coming out for Kim right now. And Jimmy makes the point that I did this to protect you from if God forbid something had gone wrong from testifying against me. And again, as I called this, I called where the episode went ultimately with this thing about the whole being called to testify against me. That's why he's been coy with her. That's why she's been keeping secrets. She's still not happy with this, saying, is that how we're going to justify this? You're just going to justify everything within this argument trying to protect me? Which is a very fair point. So look me in the oh god, this bit was so cutting. Look me in the eye and tell me this is never going to happen again.
He can't. He can't.
Oh. You can't because you don't believe yourself. You lie, we lie. This has to end. So this is where Kim's really speaking from the heart right now. Again, Kim is
just Bob Odenkirk too. We're all praising Roy Seahorn, but let's not cut any slack to Bob Odenkirk because Bob Odenkirk's world is just totally crumbling down around him at this moment, and he's so pathetic and desperate.
I know. I love that too. Like, oh god, no! Seriously, I love that.
Yeah.
And again, Kim Wexler right now, she is flirting with big change. She's flirting with going with the instincts, going with the smart play, the kind of the fork in the road that will take her potentially in the safety, depending on how things work out. This is the end where again she's listening to kind of what the alarm bells in her head are saying for a change. You don't listen. She's listening to the situation. She's listening. She might be listening to her words in this scene for a moment there, and Jimmy's very upset by this. Oh God, no! This needs to end now. We should. And this is where I love how vulnerable she is. Right, it just keeps it get the
Either this has to end now, and we go our separate ways. And her voice just breaks, and we remember the good times, or what's the Dragon?
Or maybe ultimately gets she's about to. She changes what she was about to say, or maybe ultimately. Or maybe we get married. And I was like, say what? Oh my God.
I felt so validated in this moment because me, my whole theory with Kim from the get-go on this show is that she has been in Breaking Bad the whole time. And she's just a housewife trapped in a bad relationship through a series of bad choices, and this is the start of that, Dragon. I feel like Prophet Tiki right now. That rolls right into my speculation.
Well, also, share a little bit of validation this way, pal. I called we were going to get the proposal in this season.
Sure. All right, and I think it's, at this point, Dragon, I don't know exactly what Kim's play is, but I think it's fair to say that it's got to involve something about the whole, not being able to be compelled to testify against the spouse of it all, right?
Again,
it's got to be
something. That's why I thought it was going to happen, for the whole
Yeah.
Which is why
beyond that, I have no idea what her play is, but that's got to come into play.
I think it's not only a play, but it's also she's sticking by Jimmy, whatever it takes, and this is whatever it takes, because the whole thing has been why don't these two just share an office? And she's never been quite there. But the next best thing is for them to get, relationship-wise, is getting an office and sharing an office with both their names on, not just not sharing, but being in business together would be marriage. That's their equivalent to marriage, and she's kind of going, she's kind of going for it here. She's trying to make a flawed relationship work as her own Saul Goodman. That's the thing. She's okay. I'm going to measure up to his Saul Goodman with my own, so I'm going to be married to him. And also, ipso facto, if I if I'm protected on this, that means he can keep no secrets from me ever again. As in,
Mm-hmm.
there's going to be no,
Mm-hmm.
basically, she's trying to eliminate the fatal flaw of her mother, in a sense. Like, none of this, like, she's going off the parts unknown, maybe or maybe not having the extra beer I'm never going to be able to trust. If he can't use this excuse anymore he just used on me. It's just kind of sad she's trying to justify her relationship with Jimmy so much right now, in that he can't use the whole protecting me with these lies anymore. We can go back to the status quo of having the open and honest relationship. What she doesn't get is that Saul Goodman's never going to be open and honest, even if no matter what she does.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's the tragedy, man.
All right. So let's see. Any other? Well, there's a lot of speculation to go over. Dragon, where do you want to go next?
All right. Well, do you want to do the spec first, right? Then Nicole.
Well, yeah. That's the idea.
Okay, so based on some footage and stuff, I think we see Saul Goodman and Kim Wexler in a courthouse. I like to think courthouse wedding. That's what I like to think. Let's see. Mike, he's calling Saul Goodman as most likely. This is where things get really interesting next episode. This is where I think a lot of big stuff's going to. Basically, back half of this season is going to be the Lalo affair and Saul Goodman getting an office. That's what the back half of the season is going to be, if you ask me. And per the promo, Mike is calling Saul probably to complicate the matter that we all know is coming, where he's going to be called to defend Lalo, as Nacho's probably warned Mike that, well, again, Lalo does have a lawyer, which is Saul Goodman, and Mike knows Saul Goodman, and this is going to provide a conflict of interest here, I'm sure, which potentially might be the whole Lalo affair, where we know who comes out on top at the end of the day. It's going to be Gus Fring, so it's implied that maybe Saul Goodman screws over Lalo's trial, and Lalo's not happy about that.
Oh yeah. It's got to be something like that, man. And of course, the whole Lalo of it all, just Saul Goodman being so terrified and just thinking that his life is over because of Lalo. It's like there's got to be something that goes down.
Potentially, again, like it was Ignacio. He doesn't know Gus Fring is pulling the strings behind this. So as far as Saul knows, Mike's working with Nacho, so Nacho pulled the strings behind it. It was Ignacio.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
All right, I'm convinced Kim's going to be fired. I know Kim's going to be fired this season.
Yeah. It's got to be Rich that fires her.
Yeah, I mean, it's not only that. I think both. She's going to be double fired here. She's going to be fired by Kevin Walktail, Mesa Verde, which, of course, in turn is going to tick off Rich Schleicher, who was then going to fire her because you lost her big client, and now you're gone. So, but yeah, she's basically, Kim says it sounds like what's going to happen is she's going to inform Kevin in good faith that, she's married to Saul Goodman, or she's getting married to Saul Goodman, which is basically going to set off the alarm bells that she was in on it, and he's going to fire her because of this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Howard Hamlin's going to be in the next episode, and the episode is called JMM.
Oh shit. Okay.
So
wouldn't it be great if we actually got a Howard Hamlin flashback at the beginning, much like Kim?
Don't tease me, man. Don't tease me with that.
I'm just saying. I'll tease it. I'm floating it out there, buddy.
Oh, that would make me so happy if that. Oh good God, yes. There's one more Hamlin. So
important. Robert Redford comes out and he came out of retirement to play the senior Hamlin.
Right. Anyway,
because that's my stunt casting. Anyways,
importantly, Howard Hamlin though he still wants again per this promo he's still asking if Jimmy's interested in the offer. So Hamlin so fascinatingly he's not. Again, I think he's just still trying to power. He's trying to forgive him as much as possible. These shenanigans he's pulling, man. Like Howard Hamlin, he's just.
Do you think he knows that Jimmy was behind the prostitutes, though? I don't think he does. I honestly think the jury's still out on the car. I'm leaning towards him knowing about the car, but I'm not 100% sold either way.
I'm still of the opinion that I'm sure he can put it together rather easily, but he's still just trying to be positive. I think if Jimmy pulls one more thing, he's then going to put it all together. If Jimmy pulls one more, like one of these little shenanigans.
My whole theory for Howard this season has been that Jimmy is just going to push him so far that what ultimately ends up happening is that him burning the bridge with Howard is going to essentially lead to Jimmy being burned from the entire legal community as a result.
I buy that. That sounds pretty solid. I originally was thinking about the collapse of HHM because we don't see it in Breaking Bad. But then again, we don't really go with the law offices that much.
So I have heard a theory about Howard, though, Dragon. I have heard a theory. Would you like to hear an endgame theory about Howard?
I would love to hear the endgame theory about Howard. Yes.
Okay, so Francesca. Remember last season when Howard gives Francesca the phone number and that little flash forward? What if Jimmy's giving Francesca the phone number. So what if Howard is the name that Jimmy is referring Francesca to? What if at the end of the... Go ahead.
I remember you and I, we talked this over, but again, we could have been Kim, it could have been Howard, it could have been HHM, or it could have been Schweikert, it could have been any number of potentials on that.
Puts it in Howard, and it's Howard because Jimmy wants to reach out to Howard at least. He knows he's never going to see Howard again, but he wants to maybe do one more good deed for Howard, giving him this client. I don't know.
That'd be beautiful. That's a nice theory. I like that theory. Again, it's entirely possible. It's a question of which lawyer on the wheel is going to end up being in that regard at this point.
I'm for Howard right now.
Sounds good. All right. Any other spec you got?
Let's see. No, not really. I think we pretty much hit it all out of the park. All right, Dragon. Let's see. Let me. God, I got the phone. Where is it? Dragon, I tell you what, why don't we do final thoughts? I'll find my phone, and then we'll make the call at the end, all right? So final thoughts on your end?
All right. Final thoughts for me, I think the episode is a masterpiece. We're truly in the Saul Goodman show now. Again, this is such a Saul Goodman episode. It's almost like a glimpse of what we thought that comedy show was going to be, but with the moral stakes of the Albuquerque verse at the same time. It's we're getting with the kind of the drama of it all it deserves. This is the Saul Goodman show right now. This is the Better Call Saul of it all we're entering, truly. We're flirting with I love that we're flirting with the throwaway, the thing I've been predicting for a while now. Finally, we got big credence to at the end of this episode with the gobsmacking. Well, maybe we can get married. Flirting with the old throwaway Saul Goodman was married link line in Breaking Bad, and I love it that we're gonna of all the things, man. We've really covered the full gamut of all the things Saul Goodman kind of talked up in Breaking Bad. The Kevin Costner to the marriage, it's all coming up. I dig it. So, this episode had me from the Kim Wexler flashback. I loved where they were going with it. They've been planning that for a while. It wasn't supposed to be worked into any other seasons, but they've been toying around with it at least since last season. So that finally came to pass wonderfully. It's a really telling glimpse at the Sphinx-like Kim Wexler. I really loved it for that reason. It's some very impressive filmmaking with all the ads, both artfully and both the artful ad of the 70s and the cheesy ad of the Saul Goodman. Such a clever episode with all the Mike stuff, yet so compelling with the more mundane of it all, with the more mundane stuff with Saul Goodman, even with the Saul Goodman story. It's so compelling yet mundane in the grand scope of the series, as we love it to be. And Howard Hamlin fun at the same time squeezed into the episode. Episode is absolutely what. This episode is why season 5 will be the best season yet. I'm sure these are the episodes. It's definitely. If anyone had any doubts or comparing it to the other seasons, it was already really great with episode 5. This episode, I can only imagine where the next ones are going. 7. I don't know if I can handle 7, but I'm eager to get there. I know I can't handle 9 yet, so we got to build up to that, man. But seriously, this episode's the best one yet. I can only imagine what 7 and 9 and even God knows 10 are going to be. Oh God, it's going to be great.
All right, yeah, just simply put, Dragon, I honestly think this is probably among the finest hours in both Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad, for that matter. I mean, I really love this episode. I just think that meeting scene alone with the commercial, that scene alone just had so many different emotions, and I love how it balances just an it's like a personal apocalypse for Kim Wexler. And yet, it's just utterly hilarious at the same time. And just that mixture, that balance of just knee-slapping hilarity mixed with just apocalyptic personal stakes. It's why we love the show. It's why we still consider the show to be perhaps a little bit better than Breaking Bad by all intents and purposes in some ways. So, yeah, I mean, man, it's on fire, and I can't wait to see where we go from here. All right, really quickly, Dragon, let's make a call.
All right, I have no idea. This might have been updated, folks, but it might not have, so let's not hedge our bets. Number is, from the episode, 505.
505.
503.
503.
4455.
4455. Call today.
I have no idea if this is going to be a new message or not, so let's hear.
Wrongful eviction, black mold, unwanted exposure to genitalia. What could these things have in common? A bank. I'm Saul Goodman. If you've been duped, swindled, or victimized by Mesa Verde Bank and Trust, you may be entitled to a large cash settlement. Leave a message after the tone, and I'll make sure you get to pick your bone.
Oh my god, I just got chills.
Yes, it
that's
was
awesome.
no, yes!
That's awesome.
Yes! Oh my god, yes! Oh, how
All right, take us out, Dragon, take us out.
Remember, kids, when you get that phone call, make it count. Better Call Saul. Saul Goodman and Associates is the one-stop shop for all your legal needs.
And with that, we are adjourned. We could totally be lawyers.
Totally.
Yeah.